All right, everybody. So we are back on us to go over everything we saw at the Ubisoft press conference. I'm once again still joined by the Brockstar Brock McLaughlin
I woke up.
and the ghost with the most, Drew McMillan.
Hello.
All right. So let's talk about everything we saw at the Ubisoft press conference. Of course, if you're listening to the audio later, this is our hot take once the Ubisoft press conference ended.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle being a real game that exists. We can finally talk about how it's a real game that exists.
It's a tactical RPG.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they had sort of mentioned in like the marketing notes that got leaked
Yeah.
that it was like it had strategy to it.
Yeah.
But not in the way we were expecting here.
No. This is crazy.
No, that is cool. As you said, it definitely looks like XCOM.
Yeah.
Like big time.
Like 100% looks almost exactly like XCOM.
That was a nice start of the show. They got that like heavily rumored game out of the way. I was excited. It looks good.
Yeah.
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 No, it looks sharp. I like the character design. It looks like a Mario game. It's got like a cool isometric perspective.
I don't like Rabbid Peach. Still creeps me.
I still
Really
don't like
creeps me
rabbits
out.
in general, but
Yeah.
it looks like a fun game.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. It looks like a fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a better looking game that it sort of ever had the right to be. Anyways, at least from just looking at that, our first reaction when we saw that artwork was just, holy crap,
Yeah.
this does not look good. It looks way too weird. But honestly, seeing the gameplay, like, it was fantastic. Again, it mixes elements from a lot of great strategy RPGs as well as XCOM. So it looks very much like XCOM, but you can use the throw mechanic like in Disgaea, where one character can throw another character across the map, so then you can flank different enemies like that, and you can really use that to your advantage, or you can use it to totally fuck yourself up or throw yourself into a corner. It also has team up attacks, just like Fire Emblem.
Yep.
So basically, if you have characters within line of sight of an enemy and one attacks, they all attack together, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's coming out August 29th.
Yeah.
Which is pretty soon.
Yeah, it's fast.
Switch exclusive. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm excited. If there was one way the Ubisoft would have been able to sell me on that game, it was that showing today.
Yeah.
Was that game? Like
Yeah.
that's actually one of the Switch games I'm actually pretty anticipated about.
That was probably one of my most anticipated games from that from the conference.
Yeah, I think so. I think they did a really good job with it.
Yeah.
Next up, Assassin's Creed Origins had not a gameplay trailer, but like a story trailer. It didn't really tell us much about the story, though. We still really don't know.
It was more like an environmental thing.
Yeah.
It was like, here's what the world looks like, and there are animals and shit. And
Yeah.
So we don't know if I guess he would be the first assassin, though.
I think that's what they're
I would
implying.
assume.
And because they also made reference to, by erroneously saying that Egypt was the first civilization.
Yeah.
Historically speaking, that's not quite true.
Even in the Assassin's Creed lore, it isn't, because even there was like a civilization that existed when like the pieces of Eden first came to Earth.
Yeah.
And that was before, like that was when Adam and Eve existed.
That was before the flood.
Right.
Right. In Assassin's Creed lore, the flood was like a real event. Oh, they just let some fucking lion loose.
Sorry, we have the
game.
Assassin's Creed Origins thing going on.
You can really tell that Assassin's Creed is borrowing from Far Cry a lot.
Yeah.
They're taking some of the best ideas from Far Cry.
Yeah.
Like he talked about with the bird yesterday, and now we're sort of seeing like the idea of like, using like the animals in the environment to help you.
Yeah.
Maybe that was what they were that message they were trying to send with that trailer.
Yeah, because you also had sort of the
That texture does not look good.
okay. I mean, you had the
Turn this off. I'm too distracted.
Yeah, you had like the taking over forts sections in Assassin's Creed Syndicate that were similar to taking towers in Far Cry, but nothing to like the extent of using the animals in the environment to your advantage, just like Far Cry does. So I do think that it looks pretty cool. Again, I'm still just more excited just to get my hands on it eventually when it comes out.
I'm cautiously optimistic on it.
Yeah. Next up, The Crew 2, a game we were all excited about, right, guys?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Just me?
I'm interested in the plane stuff. That seems like fun.
Yeah.
Plane racing, like the Red Bull style, like competitive, gate to gate kind of plane racing stuff.
Yeah. It's so hard to nail plane
that's
mechanics,
different.
though, in a game like this, that I hope that they don't mess it up. Like that's my only worry with that type of stuff. But there's also boat racing and
That's
car
what makes
racing.
this game unique, is that it's got, you're the master of all motorsports. So
Yeah.
you've got like not just cars but also boats, ATVs, and like motocross stuff, and then planes as well.
Yeah.
It's not for me. I will not.
It
be
does
touching
seem
it.
too douchey and bro.
That social media aspect was like cringe-worthy.
That was the
bad.
only part of it I didn't really enjoy.
The whole like get your followers, get your social media game on stuff. I fucking hate that stuff.
You can know what it's like to be Brock in real life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, no one wants that.
Yeah. It's coming early 2018. I think they announced that when they originally announced it, but at the sort of investors meeting a few months ago. But I'm excited to see more of it. Again, we're getting a lot of good racing games this year, so I think in a way it's good that it is coming out next year rather than this year, though, because it's going to have stiff competition this year. Next up, South Park had a new story trailer.
Yeah.
It still looks fantastic.
Still very anticipated.
Yep.
Still can't wait to get my hands on
Still
it.
pretty funny. Again, they're still sticking with the same release date. It didn't get delayed.
No
Thank
gameplay from that trailer
No.
was shown.
No.
But the gameplay is the game is playable.
They've
at
actually
E3.
mostly been showing gameplay from their trailers and less the story. So I'm glad this time around it was very much focused on the
What?
story.
It's mainly been all story.
Well,
We didn't see a lot of gameplay in any of this stuff.
Yeah, all the trailers have been story trailers.
Yeah, no, I meant South Park's previous trailers rather than this trailer have been more gameplay. It's
Ryan
again,
and Brock are watching different trailers.
Yeah,
all
we're
good.
watching totally different trailers.
moving on
Yeah.
to a weird announcement that I did not expect. Transference is the new game from Elijah Wood's studio. It's a VR game. It looks really creepy. I don't know. We don't really know any details. It was just sort
Motherfucker,
of the movie.
Frodo done make a video game?
Yeah.
I'm into that. That looked cool.
Shit.
That was a very well done '90s gaming commercial.
Yeah.
Yo, Frodo, why are you trying to scare me, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was into that.
It was a cool looking trailer.
It was creepy. It definitely had like that weird kind of thing going on.
Yeah, it just looks like a first person survival horror game in VR. So we'll see how that works. It is coming out sometime in spring 2018 is the release date on that. Next up, Skull and Bones was announced. It's a shared persistent world multiplayer focused pirate game that it basically borrows all the good elements from Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag's naval combat.
Yeah.
So we know you're going to be getting loot and leveling up your ship. And each person
You
gets a
drive
ship.
your boat past big influence rings to pick up loot, and
And then you fight other ships.
Yep.
And that's about it. They showed 2 cinematic trailers that sort of like set the mood, and then they had like a short gameplay thing of you basically doing what we just talked about.
And they said it was like a shared world kind of thing.
Yeah. So like
that's
Destiny.
interesting,
Yeah.
I didn't feel that at all. I was falling asleep during that very long
I
trailer.
really liked the naval combat in AC4 in Black Flag, so I could get behind this.
Yeah.
It could be fun.
Same here. Like I think those mechanics are solid.
Yeah.
And I think that could make a good game. I don't know how I feel about the multiplayer end of this, the multiplayer side of this, but I feel like honestly it'll still probably be fun. There's not probably going to be a single player that goes along with this.
Yeah, that's what I'd want. I'd want like having like cool like naval combat, but that it's packaged in like a really cool story.
There could be single player. I mean, they
Yeah,
threw
they just
single
didn't
player
talk
into
about
like
it.
For Honor and stuff.
Well,
It was
like-
a short campaign, but it was there.
Why do they have like a 7-minute CG like trailer and not have single player? Like
I don't-
I feel like they make some crazy decisions over
That was a very weirdly paced conference.
that trailer cost them like $3 to $4 million to make, right? And for what?
Yeah.
Like, I'm really hoping that's all like in-game stuff. Same thing with like we'll talk about it
we'll
later.
get there.
Yeah, we'll get to that one.
Yeah.
Next up, Just Dance was shown. It's a thing that still exists. It's coming in October to Xbox 360 and Wii, as well as many other consoles, every other console.
You thought Ubi forgot about Just Dance, but they didn't.
Yeah, there was also a panda dancing on stage with
It did
some
the
lang-
dab.
Yeah.
The panda dab.
Right?
panda dab.
Everybody ready? Yeah.
It's really hard to do to dab over here.
We're very
Okay.
we're cool.
You can make it work. If the panda can make it work.
You see, Brock,
A
the thing
panda
about
dabbed on
life
stage.
is that I can tell you a really great story about nothing. I'm not going to continue with that. Next up, a surprise announcement, actually. South Park mobile game has been announced. South Park Phone Destroyer.
That came out of nowhere.
It's coming sometime later this year.
I'm into that.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. It looks like South Park's RPG combat mixed with cards, which I know, Brock, you're a big fan of
It
cards.
didn't look like it looked like. Did it?
Yeah, it incorporated cards.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
For South Park, I'll play with
But it
cards.
also looks like the same South Park RPG combat that we like on consoles, just with cards instead of different battle attacks. And it's also like Cowboy and Indians theme, which is kind of cool. But then it also mixes in all kinds of different stuff like aliens and other stuff.
Yeah, it's got like the wizard and the other like RPG stuff from the last South Park game.
Yeah. Cool. Next up, Starlink Battle for Atlas also was announced, and this was like out of left fucking field with this one. It's coming fall 2018 and is a new IP from Ubisoft Toronto. Of course, we have to mention that because we, of course, are in Toronto, so Toronto represent. But it was basically a Toys to Life, like spaceship game where you fly spaceships.
Yeah.
And then like you'll put your toy on the portal or whatever it uses to scan the ship, like the toy, and then you can replace parts in real time on the toy, and then it replaces them in game.
Yeah.
Like it has some kind of a scanner on it, like some QR codes attached to each individual part.
Yeah.
Which seems really cool.
Yeah.
Like it seems like a really cool idea.
Yeah. We don't know how this is going to work. I was saying to Ryan, I think maybe it's like blind boxes or something like that. You know, like a collectible kind of toy thing where you get packages and you don't know what's in them. And so, yeah, I mean.
And it seems like
it's obviously not targeted at us. This is for like teenage boys, but it still looks cool.
Well, kind of like Skylanders or Lego Dimensions, but we still like those things anyways.
Whoa. No, Lego Dimensions is pointed right at me.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Or Disney Infinity. Disney Infinity is for teenage boys, but I love Disney Infinity.
I feel like both of those franchises had like Disney also has that sort of thing where like there are people who grew up with it, and there are people who are just like diehard Disney fans in the same way that there are people who just are crazy Lego nuts, right?
Yeah.
So there's like a cross sort of generation appeal because those toys have been around for a long time, but also they seem to be aware of that and try to make it accessible to everybody. This seems like it was very much like this is a game for like 14-year-old boys.
Yeah.
I like the aspect of Toys to Games is really cool. But that game, it's not for me.
Yeah. Man.
With all the other like Toys to Life games kind of like pulling back a little bit too, which is kind of interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, now we've got a new contender because I mean, Lego Dimensions is here, and it's pretty much them. And Skylanders is on hiatus. We don't know if that'll ever come back.
And I wonder who's actually making the toys, the physical toys.
That's a good question. I don't think they talked about that either.
Maybe Spin Masters.
Maybe.
It seems like it's pretty far away though, so we'll probably hear more about it
rub
later.
my lower back.
All right, next up, this is very exciting. Steep Road to the Olympics expansion is coming out on December 5th.
All right, next.
Get hyped.
Just go.
No,
past,
let's talk about the Olympics, guys.
Nope.
There's no Sonic.
I didn't even know they were happening.
Sonic and Mario though in this.
It's
All right,
specifically
that's
Winter Olympics.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
Hey guys, in 20 years we won't have the Winter Olympics, so it doesn't matter because there will be no more winter. We'll live in an arid,
hellish wasteland.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Far Cry 5 is a game that we heard a lot about before this conference, and they showed it today.
They showed gameplay.
Yep.
And it looked fucking awesome.
Yep.
And it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I mentioned it when we were watching the conference. There was a Doge that you get to have on your team.
Yes.
He can bring you guns.
Yeah.
Like a good doggo.
He attacks the enemies.
You can have your friend get up onto a water tower and give you cover fire, which is pretty cool.
Or a crazy dude with a plane who does missile strikes.
Or some dude driving Optimus Prime.
Well, the dude driving Optimus Prime was actually it showed off the fact that it's co-op as well.
It's a co-op player, so you can have you can hire like mercenaries to be like they call them like the guns for hire.
Yeah,
they can do stuff, and it looks like each character has literally like different traits. The dog is included in the guns for hire. It's rather an AI buddy that helps you out. But that AI buddy, it seems like, can be replaced with an actual co-op player, which that's awesome.
Yeah. So I wonder how the game will be balanced when you're not playing online with someone else. Like when you're playing by yourself. I just hope the balance isn't too much. Like sort of like Ghost Recon. When you play Ghost Recon Wildlands by yourself, it kind of sucks because the game's harder basically if you play it by yourself. Whereas
and incredibly boring.
Well, there's that too, but and I just hope that it doesn't go too much in this direction now that they're doing this. Like almost like you feel like you have to hire the guns for hire, basically. Like that's my only concern with this.
I don't think so. It seemed very story driven though.
Yeah, the story looks cool too.
Yeah.
I think it'll play a big part into the story.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't see the Ghost Recon comparison at all.
It also might not be like, or even like something like the Division, because the Division, for example, once you got to a certain level, like certain point in the game, it would got much harder if you didn't have co-op teammates. Is what I'm trying to make the comparison to.
Yeah.
Like the co-op, the balance between the single player and the multiplayer, essentially. So, last bit of news, last thing that they announced, Brock, you called it, Beyond Good and Evil 2 was announced. It is not, as far as we know, not a Switch exclusive, but it is a game that exists.
Well, via trailer.
Via trailer, there's still no gameplay of that game.
No, that was like a heavy CG trailer. Set up the world, which looks really cool. But yeah.
Now, Marty Sleva over at IGN said if the Ubisoft conference closes Beyond Good and Evil 2, he'll eat his goddamn coffee mug live on air.
Yeah.
Well, that's
so we're going to sit here and wait for that to happen.
Yeah.
God damn. Poor Marty. He also made a bet before Mass Effect Andromeda came out that if he didn't finish all Mass Effect 3, all three original Mass Effect games, because he had never played them before the game came out, he would quit his job. And he did not. He only finished one. Yeah.
Oh, Marty.
And that was only because he was drag kicking and screaming. So, Beyond Good and Evil 2, again, like you talked about, very expensive looking trailer.
Yeah. Like heavy super
CG.
intense, like CG trailer.
A lot of swearing, a lot of F-bombs.
A lot of F-bombs.
Yeah.
But no hint of what this game is, how it plays.
Or when it's coming out, or anything.
Yeah. You know it's a prequel, and that's about it.
Yeah. It was a prequel that's set well before the other game, before the birth of the main character and Beyond Good and Evil.
I was surprisingly not as hyped as I thought I'd be for that game.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been waiting for it, but that trailer really didn't do anything for me.
I thought the trailer was awesome. I love the whole animal hybrid thing because I'm a furry, and I like spaceships. So it has all of those things in it. So that like my dick is
I just want to see some gameplay.
Semi-engorged.
Yeah, I'm actually with Brock on this one. I don't consider that a real game until I actually see the
that's where
we've been fooled before.
That's the next thing I want to say is that like,
because
here's the deal, you gotta show me a game.
Because they've already announced Beyond Good and Evil 2 with a trailer.
With a CG trailer, a fancy CG trailer years ago with Jade in it.
Yeah, and Paige.
Yeah, and Paige.
Yeah, but again, that's also not a game either. So, I mean, not only that, I do think in a way, and this is something we talked about when they were showing it, I do think putting a number 2 on it is a mistake, especially if it's a prequel.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a prequel, have it Beyond Good and Evil, subtitle something.
That is really weird to have the 2 there for a prequel.
Like Before Good and Evil or something stupid like
that.
Yeah,
because, I mean, that's going to turn a lot of people off who didn't play the first game, especially because how are you going to play the first game now? It's not really available on anything unless you have your Xbox 360 hooked up, I guess.
No, it's PC, isn't it?
I don't think it is.
Yeah, it is.
It might be. Yeah, okay, maybe you're right about that. But let's say you don't have an Xbox One and a digital copy of it. Let's say you're on a PlayStation, for example. Like, how are you going to go back and play that game?
You can play it on PS4. It was free.
We could.
Free.
Not on PlayStation 4, though.
PS Plus? No, it was PS3.
It was on PS Plus. On PS4, I'm pretty... Oh, maybe it's just PS3.
PS3.
But you can play it on your Xbox.
Yeah. Okay, good point. So at least you can go play it on your Xbox. I'm just saying again, it'd just be like if Perfect Dark got announced.
Yeah, they haven't made an accessible version of that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that might be a tough sell for people. Again, that's the whole reason why the new God of War game is not God of War 4. It's just God of War because it means that you don't had to have played all the other God of War games to get the context there.
Yeah.
So that's my only worry with this game, besides the fact that we still don't know if it's a game that actually exists still.
Yeah.
So
they keep saying they're working on it. They keep saying, and like Michel Ancel walked out and said he actually wept. The man wept.
Yeah, that was really touching.
You know, like he said, like, thank you for all the teams that have worked on this game. And technically, he's like, he doesn't even work for Ubi anymore. He's a contractor to Ubi, and he works at his own studio doing something else. And so,
if those rumors are true that they just started development late last year, we're not very far along in this game.
No,
it could still be a really long time before we see it. Yeah. And not only that, but all of these other games, they had at least a release window tagged to them, except this game. This is the only one that had literally nothing attached to it. So this could be a 2019-2020 game when it's all said and done, and that's provided it even comes out. So all in all, before we wrap up, of course, the Ubisoft press conference, what are our overall thoughts of the conference? I think we all kind of had like a lukewarm reception to the conference. But that's kind of what I'm expecting, because that's sort of my response to a lot of Ubisoft's presentation.
Hey, there were surprises, so
Yeah.
I'll give them that. I did not expect
surprises.
that fucking pirate game or that space game or Beyond Good and Evil 2. I am really disappointed that Beyond Good and Evil 2 didn't show gameplay.
Yeah.
Like we get it. We know that you keep saying yes, we're working on it. We're working on it. We're working on it.
Like The Last Guardian.
Show as Cuba Gooding Jr. says, you show us the money. You got to show us the game, because otherwise you're just stringing us along. You know, like shit. Duke Nukem Forever. They kept saying they were working on that one too. You know, like it's one thing.
Or Final Fantasy 15 or The Last Guardian. Like those
Right.
eventually came out, but it took 10 years for those games to come
And
out.
again, same thing. Like I didn't believe Last Guardian was coming out until I saw that fucking gameplay. Right? It was like, you can show me that goddamn bird dog thing again, but until I see somebody with a PlayStation controller playing the game, forget about it. The same thing here. Like until I see somebody with a controller in their hand going, "This is a live stage demo of Beyond Good and Evil 2."
Yeah.
Yeah, I found the pacing really. I halfway fell asleep.
I felt like in the middle it got better because they kept showing game, but then like there were long drawn out areas too, like, especially at the beginning.
I'd say it started out good and then moved into really boring.
What about when they talked about the crew for 20 minutes?
Well, I'm talking Mario and Rabbids, and then there
Yeah.
was that, and then I don't know. There's a bunch of shit in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was okay.
Yeah, like I feel like
kind of-
Ubisoft has a lot to learn. Like if anything, the Microsoft conference taught us yesterday, or even Sony's conference last year, is just show us the games.
Yeah.
And that's really what this should be for. And then the Ubisoft stuff that they're doing right now, where it's like the offstage interview stuff, that's when the developers should be talking to people.
Yeah.
Like doing the
I
speeches.
would have loved to see more of their indie stuff. I feel like they must be working
Yeah.
on other stuff. Like
Yeah.
they should have had a whole indie section.
Yeah, that's
like
actually
a sizzle
something.
reel.
That's something we talked about ahead of time. Like what indies would like smaller Ubisoft games would we see? The answer is none.
Yeah.
So I mean, unless like again the Elijah Wood game is like the closest thing to that.
There's shit.
Yeah.
There was that announcement too that we didn't see coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that
South
was-
Park
that
Mobile.
Elijah Wood thing was a surprise.
So there's 5 things we didn't see coming.
Yeah. They were all fun things. I mean, some of them I was, I have varying degrees of like excitement about. So there was nothing though that really floored me.
Nope.
No.
Um,
no.
And
Yeah.
Brock, I'm sorry to say this, there was no Splinter Cell.
There was no Splinter Cell.
sorry,
No.
Splinter Cell.
You know, if they're gonna have anyone talk at the conference, why didn't they get Trey Stone and Matt Stone, Trey Parker to come
Yeah.
out? Like at least they would have been entertaining.
That's also so weird that they didn't have them come out either.
Yeah.
That was weird. They had 2 games announced and they didn't come out and like say anything.
All right. Last thing before we go, I need to blow your guys' minds. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Nope.
It was a Ubisoft conference that did not mention once the name Tom Clancy.
Oh yeah.
that's
Hey, good
also
point.
true.
Yeah.
Not once. No mention of The Division or Rainbow Six or Ghost Recon Wildlands, because there's a season pass for Wildlands.
Yeah.
We don't know what's in it.
So next
Like,
year
stuff
it's
like
gonna be
that.
all Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Splinter Cell and Rainbow Six or whatever else.
I can't believe Splinter Cell didn't get announced.
I
can't believe
actually-
Splinter Cell didn't get announced.
I actually thought the odds of that were about 60-40, 60% being announced.
It's out there. It's being made.
It probably is actually being made.
It's
just-
out there.
It might be next year at this point, like being announced.
Well, they
for
clearly
next year.
have a lot going on.
Yeah, it just still seems really weird because I think this is the first time that I can remember at a Ubisoft press conference where they didn't mention the name Tom Clancy.
It's also weird that Ubisoft didn't big up themselves a little bit and be like, "Holy shit, we're the biggest like selling developer right now, like a publisher." And like, look at all the shit we put out this year and how dope it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Ghost Recon
Now,
and
mind you-
For Honor and
Now, mind you, I'm happy they didn't do that because we don't need to hear numbers at a press conference.
I like that. I would take a little circle jerk at the beginning if they wanted to cut down on some other like boring
Oh
presentation.
no, it would have been okay. It
Get
would have been
coffee guy.
acceptable. But
Yeah, like I'm just
Oh.
happy that like
Mr. Caffeine?
they weren't
Yeah.
talking directly to investors or anything like that, talking about
yeah.
units shipped,
Yeah.
units sold, that kind of shit,
Yeah.
which
They're-
they've done at previous press conferences.
Yeah, and
so-
unlike the digital like social media stuff that you found in the crew, they also didn't mention that either, which was a big thing for them last year. Was all the social media stuff that they talked about. So
Yeah.
it sounds like there's a lot of differences. So, ladies and gentlemen at home, what do you think about the Ubisoft press conference? You can let us know in the comments below if you are watching on YouTube, or you can hit us up at gamemoosecast@gmail.com. That's gamemoosecast@gmail.com. You can find us on our website at game-moose.com, where you can find reviews, previews, and all that cool stuff, as well as our podcast Game Moose, which goes live every week. You can also find us on Twitter at game_moose_cast, on Facebook at facebook.com/GameMoosePodcast. And as well, we can follow these guys on Twitter. Drew, where can people find you on Twitter?
I'm at D. McMill.
Brock?
Brock McLaughlin.
And you can find me on Twitter at Ryan Turford. Anyways, that's going to do it for the Ubisoft press conference post-show. We will be back later tonight for Sony. I'm ready to get hyped for Sony tonight.
Yeah.
Until then, have a good night, and we'll see you in a bit.